On this episode of We're No Dam Experts, Rebecca and Madi have two guests on the podcast to talk about Winter Riverfest at the Newberry coming here this February.
Best damn podcast, the best damn town. You want to get up, get ready to get down. With its big wide sky and the wild river tame. If you want to go, we can take you there to Great Falls, Montana.
Welcome to the greatest dam town in Montana, Great Falls. I'm Rebecca Ingham.
And I'm Madi Hazard.
And we're No Dam Experts.
And today we have a new guest with us who is going to share everything we want to know about the Sun River and the Missouri River, recreating on it, and a huge event coming to support it, Tracy Wendt.
Yay, Tracy.
Welcome.
Hi.
We also have in studio Tracy. I'm gonna softball this over to you. We've had this guest on before, but there was some really important information they neglected to share with us.
So we have this guy on the podcast, and he's trying to convince us that he can teach us to fly fish in a parking lot in 30 minutes with some yarn.
Yep.
And then when I am doing the show notes, trying to make sure I'm spelling his name right, I Google here Fred Telleen and find out he's in the National Hall of Fame for a legendary guide, like for fishing. And he doesn't even tell us that.
Doesn't share that at all.
And he was on the podcast to talk about fishing.
I think that's
that doesn't have any bearing on my, talking about fishing. It might have a bearing on my expertise about fishing, but you didn't ask the question, so I didn't provide the information.
Oh my goodness. Like, I was so upset. You have no. I got out of my office. I ran over to Rebecca, and I'm like, "Do you know Fred's in the Hall of Fame?" She's like,
why didn't that come up in conversation?
Because we put you through the ringer, as we should, and you think that might come out. So when you said you were kind of, hey, we have this cool event, we want to see how we can promote it. It's at the Newberry, our newest venue in the downtown area, or in the downtown. Fred might come on. I'm like, oh no, Rebecca. So look what the cat dragged on.
So thank you both for being here. All that.
I'm really excited to be here.
Good. I am too. I have so many more questions.
So Tracy is with Sun River Watershed Management Group area.
Sun River. Now you got me saying it wrong. Sorry. The Sun River Watershed Group.
Okay. And Fred, you are representing today, not North 40, but
Missouri River Flyfishers.
So we've got these two great organizations. And before we get too far into it, we want to introduce you to Tracy because we don't know that much about her. So we're going to grill her a little bit. You live here in the Great Falls area. How long have you been doing that? What do you like to do? What are your favorite things? Why Sun River Watershed Group?
Thank goodness I was going to write that down.
Yeah. So my mom has lived in Great Falls for a long time, and I've been coming to visit. So when I saw the job posting for Sun River Watershed Group, I was already familiar with Great Falls. I already thought this is a great place to be. I mean, it's a neat town to live in, but it's a great place to base camp out of, to go do things around the area. And it just seemed like a no-brainer. It was my dream job in my dream place.
Oh, so was your mom happy that you came home?
Yeah, she was happy.
Okay.
And all you listeners, she said base camp wasn't even prompted, but it is part of our marketing message, as you know.
I like it.
Nailed it.
And then, Tracy, what does your group do on a day-to-day, month-to-month, annual basis? What's the goal?
Well, the mission of the Sun River Watershed Group is to protect and restore the resources of the Sun River Watershed and its communities.
Okay.
So it's kind of a mouthful, but basically what it means is we're a nonprofit organization, and we work to keep the river clean, to remove weeds, to keep the uplands area even healthy, so that there's good work and recreation opportunities for the people that live along the Sun River, which basically our area is between the town of Great Falls and Gibson Dam up by the Sun Canyon.
Okay.
because, as we all know, the Sun River flows into the Missouri right here in Great Falls.
We all know that.
We all do now.
And that's where I come in.
Yeah. So, Fred, do you fish the Sun River?
Yes, I do.
Ooh.
But what I wanted to say, so Tracy's group makes sure everything's pretty. So when people come and visit, they're like, oh my goodness, look how nice this area is. And it's like, oh, because I've just busted my butt.
Well, not just pretty. There's a lot of unseen factors. You don't necessarily see changes to flows in the river, or sometimes people think, oh, those flowers are really pretty, those little purple things. Well, they're knapweed, they're an invasive species. So
Yes.
pretty, and unfortunately pretty doesn't always have a lot to do with my job, but it's about keeping the resources healthy, but then also educating the public about this wonderful resource that we have and how to help me keep it healthy.
Okay, so am I allowed to have a motorized boat on the Sun River?
There are parts of the Sun River that are deep enough to support that.
So I'm one of those people that challenges the boat, and my husband probably has to replace the propeller on
Often?
it very often. He buys them in bulk, and so I'm one of those people that would find out if it's deep enough or not, and I wouldn't appreciate any trash in there that would help further damage the propeller.
Well, I highly recommend kayaks.
Okay.
But also, from Great Falls on the Missouri, there's some boat ramps. And I don't know if you guys know this, but on the Sun River here in the town of Great Falls is the Beacon Ice House.
Yes.
And you can actually take your boat right up to the dock and get a drink, enjoy live music in the summertime, and hang out at the Beacon. And they partner with us on a lot of things. It's another thing to love about Great Falls in the Sun River. Is
They did a lot
cool.
this summer. They had
They
like
did.
food trucks out there,
Yeah.
and
we had an event there.
Live music.
Live music.
You had said something about upland, which immediately took my mind to the podcast we did with Beth, Upland Game Birds. Is there a lot of game bird hunting in the Sun River watershed area?
There is. Our group has historically worked on the river and riparian areas, but we're starting to look more at the upland areas because everything ends up in the river at some point. And you need healthy vegetation and healthy soil in order to have a good, healthy river. And another benefit to healthy soils and healthy vegetation is healthy bird habitat, healthy elk and deer habitat. So every time I go to meetings and drive around outside of town, I always see pheasants and, gosh, I don't even know, all sorts of deer, antelope.
If you don't know the type of bird species, this Friday is the 14th. On January 21st, we're going to air another episode about birding in Great Falls.
There's some gems in it.
It
might make you a birder instead
I
of
like
a
birds.
fisher.
I mean, I like them, but do I? No.
Birds are cool.
Beth was pretty excited about everything and got me excited too.
So we've learned a little bit about Sun River Watershed Group. Fred, take the show. What does your group do?
All right. So the Missouri River Flyfishers is also a nonprofit based in Great Falls. And we, essentially there's 5 major bullet points: fly fishing, trout, education, access, and habitat.
Ooh, so a lot of mirroring.
So, of course, we mesh with Tracy's organization, and she's actually on our board as well. So,
Well, yeah, because if her river's floating into your river
Yeah.
and she's not doing her job, then you're like, Tracy,
yeah, I don't want
Hey.
that brown water coming into town.
That never happens.
So, basically we work to further the sport of fly fishing. We promote fisheries education. We have local supporters, and we do events. We do some education things. We do access, and we do habitat work. And some examples of that, some of the events that we've done over the last several years. And of course, COVID has kind of affected our
Life.
we haven't been able to do much the last couple of years, so we're actually super excited about this event that's coming up. But we do normally feature guest speakers like Kelly Gallup, Jeff Currier, April Vokey, Craig Matthews, and then Brian Nielsen, who's a local celebrity. And then we've done education things like supporting the Wildlife and Parks Kids Fishing Day. We've done that for years. Fly tying nights within the community.
You've
From
done
at the Dew Bar.
at the empty pines,
Yep.
right?
Yep. Done those kind of things. And hopefully going to kind of start that again, maybe in a month or two. We'll see how things go. Another thing that a lot of folks, if they're fly fishermen or fishermen in our community, would definitely notice is some of our access things that we've done on Sheep Creek Road between Cascade and heading up the canyon. We've helped create access through a long stretch of landowner property.
Okay.
And so that's a huge chunk of access for our local fishermen. We've also done some habitat work on the Sterling Ranch, which is between Craig and the Holter Dam.
Okay.
Basically done some bank restorations and some cattle watering gaps and things like that. All stuff that Tracy's familiar with, projects that she does, in the Sun River management as well. So,
You know what,
What's-
Fred?
Go ahead.
I forgot, because you were on the podcast before and I was like, oh, he's an expert. But we had you remove your hat last time. Can you flip it around? Maybe so we can get closer to Mike.
Oh,
Because I think that's impeding your ability to...
I thought I sounded good.
is my sound not?
Oh,
is
there we go.
Go, guys.
I forgot I got to lick it.
Yes. See, this is what we're talking about. So go ahead, Rebecca. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, that is fine. So has your two organizations ever collaborated on a project on the Sun River, being that you're the Missouri River Flyfishers Association?
Yeah, actually, we have recently did a project on Muddy Creek, which is a tributary to the Sun River, and then in turn the Sun River is a tributary to the Missouri. So the Sun River Watershed Group worked with a local landowner to replace a crossing on his property. He had some culverts and kind of a situation where it was causing a lot of erosion, and there was a lot of dirt and whatnot going into the creek, which would then go into the Sun River and into the Missouri. So we reached out to Missouri River Flyfishers and asked for some support and said, hey, this is going to help water quality and help put some more vegetation around the project area. And we took out those old culverts and put a bridge in.
Okay.
We also joined together to do the Bash and Trash River cleanup with Cascade Conservation District and several other partners. I couldn't even begin to name them all. But that's going to be a standing event the third Saturday every August.
Okay.
And it's a cleanup that goes all the way from Great Falls through to Helena. And there's
Oh,
also
wow.
some folks up around Fort Benton that clean up.
That is a huge undertaking and so valuable that people are willing
Yeah.
to do that. Nobody wants to go to a trashy riverbank.
No, they don't. Never mind. I won't say that. As a recreator or maybe a tourist that's not familiar with how to respect Earth,
Oh, yeah.
recreate responsibly, is there any tips or pointers you would tell, or you can share funny, if not stupid, things you've seen or heard?
And you just wonder, what in the world?
Because we
I've come up with some good things in the past. But.
Okay.
Fred, if you'd start that one, I have just a tiny comment,
All
but
right.
I think you should lead that
Well,
one.
one of the most obvious things from Great Falls, there are lots of people that use the Missouri River in the summertime for just floating. So beyond fishing, there's lots of folks that just love to take a inner tube and or a small raft or the blow up stuff that we sell at North 40, and they float down the river, which is awesome. But they sometimes drop their beer cans in the river, or they
people.
they just don't really have a smart way of containing all their
Receptacle.
stuff. So
So a mesh laundry bag.
Yeah,
Just
that would be a good choice.
Attach it to your float and put the empties in there.
Yep.
Okay.
I have a great suggestion because my husband shoots trap, and he's got this hull. There we go. Hull holder that snaps open and then snaps shut, and it's mesh.
Right.
Get that.
Okay.
Use it for your empties.
So obviously that's a huge impact at times for just by sheer volume of people. So
Who has the right of way?
in terms of a boat going downstream,
Not boat, but I'm fly fishing and I'm floating. What am I supposed to do? Get out of the water, get off my float, and move around the fly fisher?
well, in a perfect scenario, if you were floating down the river and you saw someone fishing, you would do your very best to give them as much space as possible.
Okay.
I mean, that's just a simple ethics thing. Now, unfortunately, a lot of folks are just like super happy and friendly, and they're floating down the river. And if they run right into you, they're just like, "Hey, how you guys doing? How's the fishing?" And generally, if the fishing was good, it will no longer be good after that happens.
Well, because we did an episode about recreating responsibly, and there's like right of ways for hiking. And if you are going uphill, you have the right of way. So if you're going downhill, you step off to the side. But some people don't know this at all. Like bowling, didn't know you shouldn't bowl next to someone. I found that out when I was like 6, that it's wrong. So if I didn't know and I accidentally bumped it, I'm like, "Oh, how you doing? Catch anything today? How's the fishing?"
Right.
And
I see that.
just
Which, if that happens, that's probably the best way of doing it. But, if you can kind of keep your eye downstream and see kind of what the traffic patterns are and do your best to navigate,
okay.
that would be great.
So keep your empties contained. Good Lord.
Just keep your empties, yeah.
Contained. Any other tips?
In that scenario, that's pretty much the same thing. And of course, whether you're in a boat like that, or whether you're in a drift boat, or if you're in a motorboat, then you definitely have to be aware of some navigational issues, because there's times when the river is full of floating craft, and then somebody hops in a jet boat, and that can be kind of a disaster. So,
Oh yeah.
I have a different kind of tip. When you go up into the Sun Canyon, you'll see signs that say "pull your share" near public access points. And what that is a local high school-led program to control knapweed in Sun Canyon. And what they ask is that whenever you recreate on a river, that you take 10, 15 minutes to just pull some knapweed. And there's signs all over Sun Canyon that show you what knapweed looks like. And if you're using the river, it's really nice. You can give back a little bit just by pulling out some weeds and throwing them in a pile. You don't even have to dispose of them if they're not seeding. So it's a different kind of tip and not something people always think of. But when you recreate in Sun Canyon, you'll see those signs.
And you can do that on the Missouri too. Pull
Absolutely.
knapweed.
Yep.
Yeah.
Pull it
Or
when you
just-
see it.
I always carry a pickle bucket or a Yeti bucket in my boat, and just
I was going to say in your
pick
boat.
up stuff. If I pull over to fish and I see some stuff, it goes in the bucket. So
Yeah. I'm one of those people that picks up trash. I've always been that person. I was doing land nav once, or was doing some field exercises in the woods, and I see a Gatorade, and I'm like, "Oh, Gatorade bottle! I'll just pick that up." And
Oh no.
it wasn't a Gatorade bottle at that point. It was used for something else, and I was like, "Oh, I never want to pick up trash again." But now I just know we're close.
Yep, there you go.
Thank goodness. I thought that was going down a path where you thought later it was
Oh,
yours
no.
and then you drank it.
No, no. But yeah, pick up your stuff, people. So, in order to do this, in order to have you people
Do these things.
you people do these things, you need fundraisers, right?
That is correct.
And you also want to get people involved and get them excited about fly fishing and with yarn in a parking lot, or pulling weed along the upperlands.
So how do you do that?
Yeah.
Well, one example is Winter Riverfest, which is, usually the Missouri River Flyfishers do a banquet in February every year. And this year, because of COVID and because of people just, I think, being stir crazy and ready for something different, the Sun River Watershed group joined with Missouri River Flyfishers to plan a totally different kind of event. This event is on February 19th at the Newberry in downtown Great Falls. It's going to be the coolest event. I'm just so excited because it has something for everyone, and it's not super expensive. There's going to be fly fishing films, which people will like even if you don't fish. Like, to watch these guys doing their thing is so much fun.
Is it like a river runs through it? I mean, because that was a big fly fishing film. Or
On
is this
steroids.
better?
It's real live action stuff.
Oh,
Except
so not
wild.
Okay.
Fake movie action. It's real action.
So, like it says the fly fishing film tour. So these are shown elsewhere too. Like,
Yeah, it's a national tour. It's been going on for many years. They have showings in states. Or it's kind of like the Banff Film Festival, but for fly
Okay.
fishing. If that grabs you.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask the big question. Fred, are you in it? I mean,
yeah.
I don't have a movie entered this year, unfortunately.
Do you
because-
normally enter?
I haven't had that opportunity. But we did create a film at North 40 a couple years ago that we actually should have entered, but unfortunately it just didn't happen. But
Can you
there's
submit late?
there's a potential for something in the near future.
I do know the person that's organizing this Winter Riverfest. They're actually right here. Maybe you could put that video, like,
We could do our videos
Preview.
before the
yeah, do like a
absolutely.
preview of like,
Absolutely.
look at this, the next touring one.
Right.
That would be awesome.
So we're going to have some movies. What else are we going to have?
Well, yeah, we're also going to have raffles. So every year at the banquet, the Missouri River Flyfishers does art raffles, and it's a really popular event. They're usually river and fish themed, and artists from all over the state. So between the films are two 45-minute sections. So
Okay.
between those two, we'll have our art raffle. We're
Actually, auction.
auction.
Yep,
Sorry,
yep.
I always say raffle.
So we
have
get
an
to do the
auctioneer.
bidding?
Yep.
Yes,
full
it's
on.
an auction. Thank you, Fred. I even have auction in front of me, and I'm still saying it wrong.
I have raffles.
There
in
will be
front of me.
raffles.
There will be raffles
Okay.
as well.
Maybe for art. We don't know. You'll have to go to find out.
Yeah.
So we're also auctioning off some fly fishing trips,
Ooh.
Oh.
guided trips
Guided
in our
by
local
who?
area.
Who's guiding?
Fred might be guiding one of
I will
them.
definitely be guiding one of them.
Is there going to be fly fishing lessons as part of the package?
I don't know that time will allow, because in
Okay.
addition to the raffles and the auction and the films, we're going to have music by 50 Watt Sun at the end of the night.
Holy.
they're-
And for you guests, 50 Watt Sun's a local rockin' band.
That they're pretty big.
Super fun.
Yeah.
People, they go just to see 50 Watt Sun.
Yeah.
They're a big deal.
They are. They're gonna have a lot of fun there at the Newberry. If you guys haven't been to the Newberry yet, you should go. But this venue can host pretty much anything. They had boxing there like 2 weeks ago or a week.
No way.
Yeah. They put a ring in there.
Huh.
Yeah. So
You can also get your tickets for the second Rob Schneider show.
yeah, Rob Schneider's gonna be there. So when I go there and I'm watching the movie, am I able to have a drink?
Oh,
No?
absolutely.
Okay. Just making sure, because I'm like, am I allowed to get up?
One of the best things is there's actually 3 bars within the place, so you don't have to wait in line.
It's not
just
that
like
it's
wherever
not
you
that
go.
big of a place either.
There's 4 bars if you go
Or
to the
4 bars
VIP
if you go
section.
upstairs. Yeah, okay. 3 for those of us downstairs.
So at the here, you were gonna auction off stuff and the art there. You said it's from local artists from Montana. So we also have like Western Art Week. This is like a combination, like fishing style.
Yeah.
Of it. I'm getting excited.
You should come.
I'll try and come and be there. I'm pretty sure if I took my husband there, we would leave broke.
That would be perfect because you would be supporting a great
Fine
cause.
with us.
So what are you going to use all of Monty's money for?
Yeah.
Is it a specific earmarked project? Is it just random projects?
Well, going back to our original points, and one of them, of course, is habitat. So a lot of times when we have a board meeting, we'll have someone from Fish, Wildlife, and Parks come to us and present a project that they're working on. And then we will look at that and see if it meets our criteria and then decide if we're going to present some funds to support that project.
Oh, okay.
So whether it's a project for habitat or whether it's a project for, creating an access point or something of that nature, it's all for helping us go fishing.
So previously you had the banquet, and did a lot of people travel out of town for it? Because we had Craig on the podcast,
Craig Madsen, for those of you who will
Yep.
remember.
and I asked him like, hey, why is the Missouri River a blue ribbon river? And he didn't know the answer right off the back of his hand. And I don't remember if it was you who said it or he did, but he's like, well, when you look at the parking lot and there's 49 other state plates
Right,
there,
right.
it's pretty much a blue ribbon. So people, I know they come here to fish it. They travel here
Correct.
specifically to fish this area. Do they normally come to the banquet too?
Well, because our banquet's in February, we generally don't have a lot of out-of-town guests here.
Okay.
But we are certainly trying to draw people from, beyond Great Falls, at least Montanans that might be interested in our event.
Is
Yeah.
it the first time the fly fishing film thing has been here in Great Falls?
No, we've actually done that as a club fundraiser for many years.
Awesome.
We're just combining it instead of doing our banquet and the fly fishing films as separate things. We're combining them just because this, the opportunity
Yeah.
at this new venue just makes it really seem to fit.
How should you dress for it? Do I have to like have a vest?
You have to wear something that has a fish on it, whether it's an earring or a pin.
Waders. We want
you
people
know.
to wear full waders and then dance to 50 Watt
Yeah,
Sun.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just
No.
just wanna
She's
make
big
sure.
into outfits. All of our episodes.
That's
She's like,
right.
"Oh,
It's always
I
something.
need to talk about my outfit." So
You still haven't come in and got your outfit from North 40.
no,
I've gotten some Smith and Rogue stuff
All
there.
right, all right,
My
that's cool.
daughter's sparkle boots that are pink and not as sparkly as they used to be because she will not stop wearing them are from North 40. So
Right on.
yeah,
Well,
we've been there.
Getting back to the out of town, though, our fish art is extremely popular, and we actually have friends in Missoula and in some of the surrounding communities who have let us know, hey, we really want to come to town to see that art, where the fly fishing films are also showing in some of the other towns in Missoula or in Montana, but Great Falls might be the closest town for a lot of people. So what we have done is we've worked with the O'Hare, home of the Sip and Dip, to get special hotel rates. So,
Okay.
Oh, perfect.
So if anyone's listening from out of town and you're planning on coming to Winter Riverfest, call the O'Hare, book your room, tell them it's for Winter Riverfest, and book by February 1st.
Okay.
And they've given us a rate of $65 a
$65.
night.
holy moly!
That's more money to spend on art.
Yeah.
And then when you're-
literally you can walk from the O'Hare down
Exactly.
and back. So,
And then when you're done at Riverfest and 50 Watt Sun stop playing,
Yep.
guess where you can go?
Yep.
See the mermaids. And it's on a
Saturday.
Friday? Saturday. So
Saturday
Joel will be playing afterward.
Man, what a weekend this would be.
This pretty much
Man, I wish I lived somewhere else so I could come here just for it.
just Rebecca. What was I going to say? Oh, no. So, Tracy, I don't know if you know, but part of my job is answering phone calls from potential visitors. Like they're planning their trip here to Great Falls, and I'm here to give them any information that they don't have. The amount of phone calls that I get around Western Art Week is there's a ton, but they're just weird requests. Will I be able to get this painting flown back? Do I have to drive? And they're like wanting to fill up their cabin with art. And I'm like, well, who has the fishing art? Kid you not. I put a picture of this leather made fish. It's probably 3 feet wide. This artist made it out of leather. He looked like a liar because it didn't look like leather. But they
Oh,
wanted.
I've seen that. That is a great. Those are amazing pieces.
Yeah, and people want them. So I'm sure they'll just come for the art because, man, the weirdest phone calls.
Do you know how many pieces and from what artists yet? Or some you can highlight?
We're still working on that.
Okay.
We're still working on it. We'll have somewhere between a dozen and 17 pieces of art and trips combined, I think.
Okay.
What's really cool, though, for the folks that do live in Great Falls or live near Great Falls is that, oh, Fred, you're going to have to help me. One of the museums.
Oh, so you guys are going to display the art at the square? No, it's the History Museum, right?
The History
History
Museum.
Museum,
That's where we're
yeah.
going to
My
be.
mistake. Because you guys have used the square in the
past. We have, but yeah, we're
One of
making a
our
little switch
great-
this year.
Yeah,
And you can still
everything
tour.
is new this year.
yeah.
You can still tour the square, but if you want to preview the art that's going to be auctioned, it's
That-
at the History Museum.
Which is also in downtown, right on 2nd Street. So it's a quick little walk.
Tracy, is it going to be in like an exhibit inside the museum, or is it going to be part of the Ozark Club room? Do you know?
We'll have to get back to you as well as what dates, and I can get that information to you so you can put it in the notes on the podcast.
Okay.
Awesome.
And then I'm going to add this. This is a little fun note. We thought it was at the wrong place. So we re-recorded this to say it's at the History Museum.
This is a fill-in.
History.
This is a fill-in, guys. So, oops.
See if you notice.
Yeah, I bet you will.
Displayed there, generally leading up to our event.
Oh, so it's like a little
Preview.
opening preview and beforehand. That would be
Decide what
sweet.
you want to bid on. Decide like
Have
how,
the family
how much
debate. How
If you
fun.
want us
Yeah.
to send you some pictures of some of the artwork once we've seen it, so you can display that too, that would be fun.
Yeah, I'll put them on the website.
Yep.
Going out this Friday.
We'll
would be
send
cool.
we'll send you the dates so that you can share them with the people that are listening, because Fred and I are both spacing on all the particulars about.
Hey, that's fine.
We're still in
reviewing
the
the art.
process, but
Well, when you create an event this big and you're adding the raffles and we're going to do guided trips and then, the music, and it's a new thing. It's not the venue.
Can you bid online, or do you have to be in person?
It's all in person this year.
So you're
Good
going to get a
job.
paddle?
oh yeah.
Yeah.
What kind of paddle? What does it look like?
It's going to look like a fish.
Is it a fish?
What should it look like?
It should look like a fish.
Oh yeah, there you go. That's a good point.
But it should be on like a fishing net.
Oh wow.
Or a little ice fishing pole. That could be the paddle.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
we'll have to think about that.
We'll
but
take
that's-
your comments
those are-
back to
those
the
are-
committee.
Yeah, well, we'll
That
have to
sounds like a
bring that
really
up at our next
passive
board meeting.
way of saying no.
It's like when someone's like, duly noted.
Thank you for that input.
Yeah. Thank you.
We're
for sharing.
full of ideas. If you want
right.
more, that's fine.
Yeah, feel free to share any of your ideas, and we'll get them to the committee.
I know you guys are excited about Winter Riverfest. If you do want to get some tickets, you can buy them in advance at the box office at the Newberry, which is located at 420 Central Avenue, or you can go online, thenewberrymt.com/riverfest, which is one word. It's on Facebook too. It's on our Facebook page. So commit to it. Get that $65 room rate at the O'Hare, because that's dirt
That's
cheap.
just the perfect weekend.
even if you live just a few miles away, you might want to do it because
right.
When the Newberry opened, I know it was all Great Falls people that were pretty much invited, I believe.
Yeah.
And plenty of people had hotel rooms.
Right.
They were like, we're not driving. We're
That's
going
a
to have
good
fun
idea.
tonight. We're going to relax and not have to worry about it. So to get to end the night with a mermaid.
Well, and what's neat is, in the short time I've lived in Great Falls, just the last almost 4 years, this town has become just the coolest. And if you come to town for Winter Riverfest, there's places downtown to shop and to go have breakfast. Even right there at the O'Hare, I love breakfast at Clark and Louie's. I mean, it's fantastic. So I think there's a lot more to offer than just coming for Winter Riverfest. I think people could plan a whole weekend.
Oh, yeah, because
then you could go to all the museums, because Paris Gibson Square is just one of 10.
11,
12.
13. So there's, because I know Diamond Rio is playing the 17th, and you have Quiet Riot playing February 20th. It's
Wow.
right in between there.
So really, people, why aren't you booking your trip to Great Falls right now for this weekend,
Get on it.
February 19th? So you show up the 18th, you get your outfit for the gala.
So in the next couple of months, you're going to be starting up the tie knot or fly
tying.
Fly tying. Any place you're going to start first? You just
most likely the Do Bar.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. So
Yes.
it's because your friend's there.
Yeah.
Zach.
Okay, Zach's there. Yeah.
We should get Zach on the podcast, and we've said that the last time Fred was here.
Yeah, Zach would be fun.
Yeah.
Would he?
Yep.
Okay, we'll see. Well,
We could have a married couples event. Bring Lexi and Zach on, see what happens.
oh,
I think this could be fun.
so Lexi's the manager of the Do Bar.
That's
For
correct.
those of you who don't know, I don't think the normal podcast listener would know. And then Zach is a guide too, right?
He does some guiding, absolutely.
Yep. So,
This is going to be perfect.
okay.
What else did we not cover that needs to be shared to our listeners before you go back to the rest of your lives?
Well, I would want people to know that they can go to sunriverwatershed.org and learn more about our organization. We do a lot of projects. If you go to our website on the events tab or go to our Facebook page, we have a lot of volunteer opportunities. And we're doing a lot of good stuff. If you just have extra money lying around and you can't come to Winter Riverfest, we're always taking donations. And
There
there's
you
even
go.
a tab on our website for doing that. But more than just asking for funding and support right now, I would really encourage people to just go look at the work that we do, because I'm pretty darn proud of it.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, and it gets you back out into the wilderness areas, which you should be doing. And honestly, I'm going to say it, the Sun River is really just underappreciated in the whole scheme of things. I mean, the Missouri's great. It's really awesome. But the views and the landscape up the Sun River Canyon,
Pretty special.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we did an episode with Colin from Central Invasive Species
Sea mist.
Sea mist.
We love Colin. We work with Colin.
Colin Threlkeld.
And then we did an episode about recreating responsibly. So to us, people that live here, it may seem like, yep, people actually have boards and there's nonprofit organizations that work towards bettering this and they fund projects. People don't know that. They're just like, oh, it's just nature.
Yeah, you don't just always get to show up and get access to these areas and have clean, good, developed habitats without the work of these people and organizations that are leading the efforts.
Yes.
Yeah, and if you live in this area, you should definitely help support.
Oh, yeah.
Continued good works.
Come here, enjoy the area, but know that it's hard work to keep it this way. So, pull your share while you're walking, hiking anywhere along any river, and then don't leave your empties out because that's just rude.
It's awful.
Because what do you call?
I get so angry.
What do you call people that litter?
Litter bugs?
Trashy.
Trashy.
I've told this joke before.
I'm gonna get it one day.
One day.
Gonna get it.
I would add, too, that, Great Falls and the Sun River Watershed are part of the Golden Triangle, and food production is a really important element and a really important industry in our area. And our organization also supports irrigation, agriculture, ranching. So when you support us, you're not just supporting fishing, you're also supporting agriculture and maybe your neighbor, maybe the person you got your cow or your barley to make your beer from.
Yeah, the Times, was it last year? They listed the 50 places you need to vacation to, and it was a list from all over the world, and the Golden Triangle was on it.
Because honestly, people who are listening, I've said it time and time again, we have the best beer in the world right here.
The most localist.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, again, if you have any questions about the Winter Riverfest, you can head on over to we'renodamexperts.com, and in the show notes, I'll be linking the event. If you have any questions, give me a call at 406-761-4436.
Be planning for your weekend. It's February 18th, 19th, and 20th. A lot of stuff happening. You may want to take the 21st as well. Since Quiet Riot is playing on Sunday, you may just need to call in.
I'm going to call in on the 21st.
If you need help filling that itinerary, we're here to help. So until we see you here for this weekend or any other time, we hope you're having a wonderful time creating memories with your friends and family wherever you are. And we can't wait to see you soon.
Bye-bye.
We're No Dam Experts is the recorded claims from Great Falls, Montana, covering what you need to know about this amazing damn town. Damn, that felt good.
On the next episode of We're No Dam Experts, Rebecca and Maudie finally have an expert on the podcast to tell them about bird watching in Great Falls, Montana and the surrounding area. We're No Dam Experts is produced by Great Falls, Montana Tourism with original music by the best dam musician, Joel Corda.